All right. Well, welcome everybody to the what we call it the Bad Fan Podcast, the supporter section. We're working on a name, but I'll introduce myself. I'm Cole Carter, and this is my good friend.
Brandon Patesnick.
Let's go. Well, hey guys, welcome. You are in the new year. It's February already of 2022. And right here, we have two guys that just love sports. We love talking sports. We love watching sports. And today we're going to talk a little bit about Major League Soccer. But before we get to all that, we want to just talk about ourselves, how we got to recording to a podcast today and what that means for us and what that means for you as a viewer, as a listener, whatever you're streaming on today, that you're going to get some good news and something that's informative to you today. So I'll start. I'm Cole. I am a fan of just all sports, really. Anything that has a ball with it, I love to watch. The Olympics just ended yesterday, and you could put me in front of a curling team, and I would sit down and watch that. But yeah, I'm a fan of a lot of teams. Here in the United States, I love my local city of Atlanta. I'm also wearing a Tottenham Hotspurs jersey. So I've been over the pond recently, got the chance to see the club in person, and also have another team in Venice, as we know as Venezia. So I love that. I love getting to support my teams, watch them when I can, even if they're early. Sometimes I make the sacrifice to wake up. But Brandon, what do you think? What's your story? How did you get into sports?
Yeah, I'll jump in and say we go way back, Cole and I.
Yeah.
Friends since very young. So we also went to college together and lived together. So we're not just two random dudes that met. We've known each other for a long time, and hopefully the chemistry comes through. But yeah, I'm originally from Ohio. I was born in Columbus, but I lived in Atlanta for my whole life up until recently, where I got a job in Columbus randomly. So I'm back in Columbus. So I've always split ties to Atlanta sports and Ohio sports, more Cleveland sports. But as you can see, I have a Crew jersey on. Cole actually got me this.
Yes, sir. Love
But my
that.
allegiance in the MLS is with Atlanta United, definitely by far. Um, so yeah, had college in Atlanta, and across the pond, as Cole put it, Aston Villa is my team. Definitely love the Prem. And then yeah, we picked up Venezia in college. We started watching them when they were in League Two. What do they
Yeah,
call it?
so it's Serie A, and I guess what Serie B. I don't know if they say Bay, whatever it is in Italian. But yeah, we supported them on the come up journey. So it was cool that we weren't just kind of bandwagoning. We picked them up when the season was kind of in the balance. We weren't sure if they were going to make it up, and it wasn't easy to keep up from a team that's in the second division in Italy. So you had to illegally stream games or hope that there was some official form to watch it. And really, it was a journey that, as roommates, we just love getting the chance to see. So we ended up buying the jerseys. We got the souvenirs for the team when they got called up, and it's been a journey so far. They're sitting like 17th right now in Serie A, so hoping that they can stay up. But how else have we picked our teams? Like for me, I picked Tottenham. It's been, I think, a decade now since I picked them, and it was just a random set of events. It was, as high schoolers, we loved playing the game FIFA. And I won't tell this to many people, but you, the listeners, can know that really I fell in love with Chelsea first, which it happened in the 2010 World Cup. Didier Drogba, the guy who is such a legend, kind of stole my heart, and I just loved him. And the easiest way to watch him was Siri's talking to me. And the best way to follow was to watch Didier, and he happened to wear Chelsea blue, and that didn't last too long because the next year I finally just picked Tottenham in a FIFA tournament and just sort of fell in love, learned that they had Clint Dempsey. I love the team colors. I love the navy and the white, the lily white. And since then, I've got to see players like Gareth Bale and Christian Eriksen. Now, just the rise of players like Harry Kane, just complete stardom along with Sonny. So it's been a fun journey. But I know you picked Aston Villa under different circumstances. What was that story like?
Yeah, you guys had been following teams, and I thought it was cool. Up until then, it was just more like World Cups and hardly paid attention to the MLS or really any soccer.
Right.
So I was like, okay, I'm gonna pick a team. So I did a little bit of research, like everyone should, when you're looking at a team in the Premier League. Well, I think that was 15, 16. Also love the colors, love the crest, love the stadium, and I loved the history. So those went into my decision making. 15, 16. If I have the years right, that's the relegation year. So
Yeah.
it wasn't a great first year of following Aston Villa. So
But like,
funny story.
what players were your favorites like when you started first following them?
Yeah, so I don't remember many, but I remember there's this young kid who I think everybody that watches this will know. His name is Jack Grealish.
Yes, yes.
He's still wearing number 40 back then, and I think he was injured that most of that year or something, and he didn't get a lot of playing time. But there was something special every time he got the ball. Like he's gonna be a kid to follow. You know, not it doesn't always pan out, but in his case, it did.
Right.
Unfortunately, he's at City, but what a career he's had so far. And yeah, so it's been a weird journey trying to follow them in the championship in the second tier, which in America is hard to follow in some instances. Now it's sort of easy with ESPN. But
right.
Yeah, it was great. And they came up, followed them through that season. Now they're up, and it's not easy. I'll tell you
No,
that.
it's not.
It's
Even as a
not
Tottenham
easy.
fan, sometimes it's not easy. But we got
No,
the big win
no,
over Man City over the weekend, so that felt good.
that's great.
Fantastic performance from the boys to see Harry Kane grab the double. Could have had a hat trick, but sometimes things get called back. But yeah, I think it's a lot different. Watching our teams in the Premier League versus the ones that we love to support in Serie A and MLS. And here in Atlanta, we have a great team, a great organization in Atlanta United, and that's a club that originally, from my own experience, started out as a Twitter account. It was Atlanta Wants MLS. And as like a 15, 16-year-old kid, like that didn't mean a whole lot to me yet. I just knew I want to have a team in Atlanta, and the only way we could support it was to tell people on Twitter that we wanted a team. And I think that message came through when Arthur Blank officially came out and brought a new expansion team to MLS. And since then, we've been through high waters and some low points, like the good and the bad, basically. And I obviously think that the highlight would be in 2018 MLS Cup. You were there, I was there, together in the cold, pouring rain. And what kind of story did we come from that?
Oh man, I wouldn't trade that night for the world. That's up there with the Braves winning the World Series this past year. That was just an amazing experience. We were there for like 4 or 5 hours early in the tailgate and the goals. Just all the supporter groups are out. It's raining. No one cares. Freezing rain because it was in December. So, oh man, it was a lot of memories. I wish I had more photos from that night, but a lot of memories. 2 good goals. And man, we just seemed unstoppable that year. But things have changed. We haven't been as lucky. I have my feelings about the MLS and the restrictions they put on the league, but I'm sure we'll get into that a different time.
Absolutely, we'll definitely pen that as a future episode. We'll deep dive into everything the MLS can do to grow as a league. But no, yeah, I mean that night was special. You had the step up from Michael Parkhurst, the big tackle in the midfield to get the ball to Joseph Martinez on the big goal. And then you had the Franco Escobar goal, if I remember correctly, right?
Yeah, at the back post. I think Miggy it in from the second.
Yeah, it was a Gressel Miggy free kick, and Miggy took it and playoff Franco put it in the back of the net.
Beautiful.
What a night, huh?
LA, man. He's at LA now.
I know.
Whatever.
It's it's little things. Again, like this goes to that conversation. If MLS had a different set of rules, perhaps this team would have stayed together a little bit longer. And who knows, maybe we'd have 3 titles as a team. But today, that's a little bit about us. But today we're going to break down the new MLS season. We have a couple of new teams in the mix with Charlotte, and we're still Austin FC can do, as well as the new club still. We're 6th season in, but it's easy to think that Atlanta and LAFC and even NYCFC have been around just a couple of years, but it still feels like there's still some building going on for these clubs. So, what can we expect from a team like Charlotte in their first year? What do you think?
The way it's been going, and I've been slightly following it, I don't think it's going very well so far. I'm not sure if they have a full roster yet, but I saw something come out about their coach saying that they're screwed. It was translated, but it's maybe a rough translation. But yeah, I mean, they can expect, a lot of excitement. Hopefully Charlotte as a city is ready for that. Why wouldn't they be? They have beautiful kits, great colors. They have our Anton walks, our
Yeah,
beloved
stole them
Anton
from
walks.
Atlanta United.
That goes back into the MLS rules. But yeah, they won't be great, but who knows? It's something to build off of, sort of like Nashville is doing now. And yeah, Atlanta United and LAFC, I think, are very special instances as far as taking off the way they both did.
Right.
So yeah, I wouldn't expect the world, but expect to have an up and down season, a long season for the first season. Just enjoy the ride.
They've had great fan support early on. I know that there's an expectation potentially for their first game where they may even break the MLS attendance record, which obviously is set by Atlanta. I think Atlanta holds 8 of the 10, biggest MLS games, but they've had great season ticket holder sales. Obviously, being in Charlotte, close proximity to Atlanta, so I think they'll have something to do with the I-85, rivalry. But it should be an interesting season. Obviously, the coach is not instilling a lot of confidence in the club, but you would hope to expect that, teams like Atlanta and LA have really invested into their clubs early, signing big name players or flipping those players for big money as well. And Charlotte just hasn't, seemed to have done that yet. So yeah, excited to see, what happens. They may get 10 games in and have to, press reset and see what happens from there. We today are going to do a deep dive into the new Mls kits, and we've had all 28 teams release new kits for the new year. As Mls does, you get a new kit per season, so basically a 2-year cycle for each kit. And with Charlotte coming into the league, that basically means we get 29 kits, so you get a bonus one this year. So we'll get started. We'll go alphabetically. So obviously, number 1 being Atlanta United, the home club, getting the start for everybody. And we have a new. It is just perfect. So we have a new introductory kit, and it's a new color for Atlanta. So we've had strawberry and gray kind of kit. We've had the white and gold, and obviously the famous 5 kit with the red and black and the gold. And this year we get a new look, and it's a nice forest green with a mint kind of accent to it. And for me, I love changing things up. I think it's great to have your team colors. I think it's great to have the classics involved, but it's nice to have the away kit or the third change kit to kind of change things up. And it's cool that Atlanta this year really implemented the whole idea of Atlanta being the city in the forest. So on the back, jock tag, you have the city in the forest emblazoned on it, and you have a nice kind of, they call it a like a minimal kind of design on the chest, just around the whole body of the jersey. That's showing the city layout with the forest aligned around it. So I think for me, this is a really unique kit, and I do think it's got to be in the higher low tiers. What do you think? Is it an S tier kind of base, or how are we going to land this one?
Yeah, I am in love with this kit. You forgot to mention the King Peach, by the way, which I think is also a great.
I do love the King Peach
second kit. So I think it's up there with that. I actually think it's better than the King Peach. Some people I've seen on Twitter say, "Oh, it needs to be the team colors and all that." Well, the MLS doesn't really do third kits necessarily. At least every team doesn't get a third kit every year. So it doesn't really matter as long as you have your good home kit, which we do. This kit is beautiful. I love the ode to Atlanta, the city in the forest, city in the trees.
Yeah.
This is S or A tier. I think this is Atlanta United's best jersey other than the original 5 stripes.
Wow. I mean, if we're gonna go that way, I do think we could put this one in the S tier. I feel pretty good about it, honestly. I mean, I love a good kit. I also think that it's important to have something that goes along with the team's history and the city. So it's cool to have that. So yeah, letting in the S tier, I think that's a good start. We have Austin FC's second away kit. Last year they had just the clean white and green, not a whole lot going on to it. But I am a fan of the mint look. I know we'll have a couple of teams with accents or a primary shade of mint involved, but it's a clean jersey. It's got just the mint and the black on it. But I think it's a solid kit. I think it's, they want the whole Verde scene in Austin, so
Mm-hmm.
making sure that green is always a part of their look and part of the culture there. I think
Mm-hmm.
for me, like this could easily land in a B section. It's solid. It has nothing wrong with it, but I do think they could have done a little bit more, maybe with like a pattern on the inside of it, just something to go a little bit further than just the black and the mint green. What do you think?
Definitely. I was gonna say B. That color is really unique. Maybe not to other leagues, but at least to the MLS it is.
Yeah,
And like you said, it goes along with their color scheme already. Just very clean. It gets the job done. It'll sell. I don't know. I've seen Adidas start to do this with a lot of the kits, but they do like the imprints on them or like the different patterns. Like this one,
yeah,
for example, has like a checkered, but you would never know it was there unless you like
right.
saw it in person or they had those beautiful like 4K photos or whatever it
Yep,
is.
yep.
So I don't know if that has any of that. But as from what I know, that's definitely a B tier easy.
Yeah, no, I agree. I do agree. And yeah, you're kind of saying the same thing. Like Tottenham has a couple of those subtle little imprints on them that I really enjoy. And we
Yeah.
get to Charlotte. I mean, we just talked about them a little bit. It's your first season. You wanna look good. You wanna have something that you're proud to wear. You wanna sell jerseys in your first year as a club just to increase your ability to make some cash, right? And the
Mm-hmm.
home kit, it's got a nice blue and white tone to it, small accents of black here and there. And to me, it screams. I want to say it was like 2011 or 2012, maybe. And I don't know if you remember the navy blue United States men's team kit. I guess the women wore it too, but the navy blue with the white sleeves. This one just screams that for me. You
Mm.
remember that one?
I don't remember that one. I'll have to look it up later. But I do think this is a really good first kit.
I do think it is good.
Um, I like. Would you call it a vest? I like the vest blue with the different colored sleeves. And
Hmm.
that blue color is really nice as well. Ever since they released their crest, I really like that color. So again, this might be B or A. I don't know. I think it might be really generous to give an A, but I don't know. What do you think?
Yeah, I mean, when you look at the landscape of the league, I think I'm just imagining myself wearing this kit in like a nice long sleeve. I think if this is a long sleeve kit, I would totally give this like an S tier, A tier.
Oh yeah.
I think you got to give him credit. I think you got to give him credit for a solid first kit. I would put this in the A tier, just to be generous to the team. I don't think they have a lot going for them this season. So far, looking at everything going on in Charlotte, I think that an A tier kit is a solid start for them. And I think the B kit, um, the away kit, there's nothing wrong with it. It's just like the Austin FC kit. It's clean. It's hard to go wrong with black. I love wearing black day to
Right.
day.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that there's little details that can, make it special. But for me, this is nothing higher than a B tier for me. What
Yeah.
do you think?
I think it sits at a B. We'll give them the benefit of the doubt. Um, yeah, put them right there next to Austin FC. Just
Yeah.
another solid kit. I think both of those will sell really well.
Yeah.
I don't know if they're selling well already, but I'd imagine they are.
Yeah. Next one, we get the new look Chicago Fire, and Chicago Fire has had a bit of a tumultuous history with their branding recently. Um,
Yeah.
yeah, they had a good kit or a good like badge and logo for the club, and they decided to rebrand. And I think for the last two seasons, they had just a logo that people really were just so divided about and just didn't really love that much. And so the fans pretty much forced the club to get a new logo again and to change branding once more. And so the logo has a more Chicago feel to it, which I think a lot of people will appreciate. Um, but we just get a really boring navy kit that I don't know. I just don't think it does a whole lot for me, and it needs maybe just a little bit more red, it's a bit more pop to it. Some people might say it's a nice clean kit, but really for me, it just doesn't do a whole lot. And I honestly would put this in a C tier, really.
Yeah. I'd say the same. This is their home kit, right?
Hmm.
Yeah. And so as we'll go through, there's a mix of home and away kits just on how the cycle is. Um, and you want your true colors to as your home kit. So
Right.
I'm glad they stuck to that. However, it's just so boring. I know there's a pattern in it. Um, The crest is good.
Yeah, it's an improvement.
You know, referencing the flag, the Chicago flag.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, C or D for me. I'll let you make the decision. I'm fine with C, but it's just so plain.
Yeah, it's nothing special, but yeah, a C is just like a pass. Like as a fan, if I had to buy a new kit this year, maybe if we had a new player, I would, but it's nothing, worth cashing out for.
Right.
But talking about teams that had the nice kind of subtle imprints on them, Cincinnati this year has done exactly that. On the chest, you see a bit of a pattern that's emblazoned on it, which is really cool for me. I think it's a clean kit. I think Cincinnati hasn't done, much wrong as a club as far as their branding and logos and things go. I think the orange look, we have about 3 teams. We have New York, Houston, and now Cincinnati that have that, orange coloring in their team. And I don't know. I think it's a solid kit. Um, I think it's not special. Again, it's similar to Chicago, and it's sort of where Charlotte and Austin were, where it's a classic. I think this for Cincinnati fans will be a classic kit. So I think, you know, once again, giving credit where it's due, it might make the B tier. I don't know. What do you think?
Yeah, I was gonna say D. I saw the imprints; they look really unique. This is their second home kit, right? This will be
Yeah,
their new home kit since they came up into the MLS. So I think they'll really like this one. Again, staying true to their home colors. When I first saw it, I thought the imprints were really cool, better than Chicago's. So I think they could sit in C or maybe get bumped up to a B. That's where I think they go.
Yeah, I think Cincinnati did it right this year. I think they've earned the respect to be in a B tier list. Um, Yeah, and I think maybe they have
Yeah,
something to prove this year on the field. We'll see what they can do. But you have
definitely.
Colorado. Colorado is, I think, coming off a pretty good season this past year, if I remember correctly. And this
Yeah,
is a club again, like something to prove out in the West. We'll have a new look West. And what can they do? I think they have was it Mark Anthony K? They made a big splash for him last season, trading him from LA. And it's another subtle thing. They have the nice kind of mountain range on the shirt, but um, I think it's a good kit. Again, it's that BC tier. It's
yeah,
just classic. It's a classic look, and I think MLS fans need some good classic kits. I think sometimes they're just doing too much, or even Adidas has done I think a poor job recently of just making a lot of teams look and feel the same. And the MLS doesn't have a lot of teams that feel like Colorado with that dark maroon with the nice sky blue involved. So, um, if we're saying it's like Chicago, let's toss it in the C tier.
yeah.
But C for Colorado, maybe keeping it weird, keeping it simple. But um,
Yeah, that's where I would put it. I
yep,
would love to see that light blue come out a little bit more, maybe in some accents or whatever. I think they did the
yeah,
imprint thing again on that kit. Um, Again, love that maroon color with the contrast to light blue. I wish they would just do a little bit more Adidas.
yeah,
I
I
have
agree.
my own gripes with Adidas. I also think it's weird that the MLS makes every single team have an Adidas kit. I don't know. I don't know enough about other leagues around the world, but I don't know if many leagues like force teams to be under a contract or whatever. But
It's an American
um,
sports thing, apparently.
yeah, I think so. But C is definitely fitting for them. And then we move on to my city's team.
Yeah, come on, tell us what you think.
I hate their crest. I'll say that, but um, it's plain. It's simple. It's true to what they've always done. Um, Nothing to write home about. That's sticking with the C's. That is definitely a C kit.
Yeah, I agree. I
I don't
think
see anybody buying it if they already have a yellow one.
yeah, no, I think Columbus has. I think they haven't done anything wrong. I think that this is right up their alley. They haven't done anything special, but it's a classic kit. I agree with the logo. It's a shame that they couldn't have just kept the old logo on the chest and maybe put the new C logo maybe on the neck tag or something, but bring it back, Columbus. It wasn't hard. The
Yeah,
fans, I think, made themselves pretty loud and clear of what they wanted, and I'm glad they're in Columbus. I'm glad they didn't go to Austin FC a couple of years ago, but yeah, they should have kept the crest the same. That's a big miss. I think that's why we can't see them in the B tier for that one.
Definitely.
Which now DC United again following the trend this year. It's a lot of these teams are just making classic kits, but I think DC got it wrong this year. I think that it's cool to have the subtle kind of dark gray / black stripes within the jersey itself, but there's nothing about this jersey that's just screams special. Um, I think maybe they
No.
were afraid of doing black and red stripes to copy Atlanta's thing, but I think for me, this is a D tier kit. This isn't anything special. DC, again, I think they have something to prove in the East, and I don't think they can do that this year in this kit.
Me either. I definitely think this is our first D, unfortunately.
Mm-hmm.
Again, and I like the black jerseys, but they just don't. It just doesn't do it for me. I wonder what it'll look like in person. If that is it a gray line or two gray lines?
Yeah, it's like a subtle like the Atlanta United kit from about 2-3 years ago. It's got those same size stripes, but I think it is like a maybe in the daylight or something it'll reflect a little bit better. But yeah, just
Yeah,
not doing
maybe
it for me.
right. Maybe it'll come out better on the field, or look different in the light. But just from the pictures I've seen, not too into it.
Yeah. Um, FC Dallas. They've made a couple of big moves this offseason, moving some of those young players overseas to Europe, which I think is great for the league in general. This is something else we can talk about down the road about how MLS needs to keep exporting players to Europe, especially young
Mm-hmm.
Americans. If the Americans want to compete, in big competitions like the World Cup, then we need to continue to see young talent go overseas. But this kit, I don't know. I definitely don't like the sponsor. I think that the sponsor, that's an important part of the kit. And for this one, it doesn't do it for me. I'm glad they didn't put it, halfway on the blue stripe and halfway on the red part of the jersey, but
Mm-hmm.
I don't love horizontal hoops in general. It's
Mm.
just not, not a favorite look for me. I think this is a bad kit. If I'm an FC Dallas fan, I certainly wouldn't be wearing this jersey.
Sure, and I think it looks so much like their other ones.
Hmm.
Maybe that's just an FC Dallas thing. They're just a machine at turning out prospects. So
Sure.
selling 15-year-olds to Europe,
Yep.
and they're so good at that they don't have time to maybe design a good kit. But I think they got Paul Areola, didn't they, this
Yeah.
off
Big,
season?
big move, big trade. I think this past week maybe.
Yeah, so that doesn't really seem like them. Maybe it's to sell a couple of these jerseys, but they should be fine this year. The jersey, I don't think it's as bad as maybe you do, so I'm willing to put it in that C tier. They stick to the colors. I don't mind the horizontal hoops. I like the variation in the size of the hoops too. I think that's cool, but I'm with you. It's so eh.
All right, I'll be generous because you're being generous. That's supposed to be in the C tier. I'm the bad guy. Sometimes I like to have a dissenting argument, but
Mm,
we'll go on to the next one. And that brings us to Houston. And Houston has done it wrong the past couple of years, in my opinion. I appreciate their sponsor. The Cancer Center, I think, it's a good organization to have involved the club. It's a good look. But for years, they just done it wrong. They had the organization's red cross out through cancer, and it just threw off the jerseys for me so often. I actually think this is a big improvement. The black looks great with the imprint design on it, and the logo on the club looks good. I think the old Dynamo logo was fine, but the new one, it's classy, it's clean, and honestly, if I'm a Houston fan, I'm buying this the moment that it drops. So I think for
I
me, I would put this in the B tier, honestly, maybe even A tier. This is a close one for me, actually.
Yeah. When the first time I saw it, I was like, Houston, whatever. The more I looked at it, though, I started to like it a lot more. I think it's the thing with when new jerseys come out, you're like, oh, your initial reaction might take you one way, but then sit down with it, actually look at it, look at the details. This is definitely a B for me. Um, like you said, the gray imprints, their crest looks good, good enough, not the best, but a lot of MLS crests, to be honest, aren't that great.
Yeah.
Um, I think it sits at a B.
Cool. No, I totally think that's a perfect spot for it. Um, Enter Miami, which What a team! It's an interesting club that they just can't get settled in MLS, can they? That's just the moment that they want to build a stadium, it can't work, and then they build a stadium, but it's just a practice stadium that's going to be irrelevant in a year or two, and obviously the whole pandemic doesn't help trying to build a fan base, but you have great investors like David Beckham involved with the club. You bring in, Pizarro to be your star guy, and he just hasn't performed in MLS. I think he's already gone back to Mexico. So, what is Inter Miami? What's their deal? It's hard to know, but it is nice that they've stuck to their brand identity with the pink here. I think it's cool. I think it's special. You don't see pink all too often in sports. I think it's a really classy kit. You have the nice collar to it. Their first sponsor on the kit. I think it's clean. I do think that this could be an A tier kit, if I do say so myself.
Yeah, it's definitely A tier. Love the pink. They're sticking to their guns. Also, I think they have a great crest. So A tier for me. I'm excited to see Yedlin, see
Yeah,
what
he's
he still
back.
has.
Yeah,
I know he still has some magic, and he'll definitely be wanting to make that, knock on wood, World Cup roster. So this will be great, and he'll definitely be starting every game probably. So I'm excited to see him in that. He'll look sharp in the Miami Heat. Yeah, it's a good kid.
perfect. Yeah, I'm glad I had DeAndre back. I read a little bit of his journey, out in Turkey, and it just seemed like it was tough for him, I mean, a couple of managers when he was at Newcastle and Tottenham, he was always just fighting for his life. Obviously, Tottenham, he was never even in the starting 11, and Newcastle that's a tough situation to be in as a player, having the relegation battles, and um, he just never got his footing exactly. And um, I think coming back home, coming to Miami, does give him that shot of maybe making the 22 roster for the U.S. men's team. Lord willing that they even make it to the World Cup. We're looking pretty good, but anything can happen these days in sports, it seems.
Mm-hmm.
Um, LAFC, I love this kit. I, for one, am sort of a fan of that middle-looking crest on the shirt. I love the design on it. It gives me a lot of those old Mexico jersey vibes, even a little bit of the Club America looks. So I really think this for me is an S tier kit. I love the black and gold LA. It's hard to, as a middle of the road fan to not enjoy, their branding, what they do on the field. They have great fans out there. But where does this one land for you? I know I said S tier, but how does this one feel for you?
No, I was gonna stop you and just say put it in S because it's straight to S. I love the middle crest. It's hard to go wrong with those colors. Um, their sponsor is very simple, sort of like the Yeti.
Yeah.
And yeah, the details on it are just so good. What a great jersey! If I see it in a Ross next year, I'm
Oh yeah.
buying it.
And for those that
If
y'all don't
anybody
know,
knows,
Ross is the place to buy your MLS jerseys. For some reason, it just happens that they're in a Ross every year. So if you're
yeah,
gonna buy them,
people know the Ross hunts. If you
yeah.
know, comment down below.
If you know, you know. And then the second thing I was gonna say is too, for those couple of years that LA had YouTube TV as their sponsor, it was just throwing me off that they had the red in the logo. It's like I mean, I'm wearing a Tottenham jersey with the red, which is divisive enough with the AIA sponsor that people think we have more red in our jersey than Arsenal does sometimes. But you know, I do think that Flex has been a decent change for LA, making the jersey a bit more easy to swallow in terms of the sponsor. And so, yeah, this one's definitely an S tier for me. But the counterparts, El Trafico, the Galaxy, they changed it up this year. No sash, which I'm a beloved fan of the sash. And
Mm.
it's hard to see it go. I mean, they've tried to keep the kind of galaxy theme going around. You have like the quasars on the collar, which it's a good look. But could you imagine if this thing had a sash? This might be the perfect LA Galaxy jersey.
Uh, so I'll just start off saying I think this is an S tier kit. I love the details on the collar and the sleeves. Because think of their home kit or their away kit? The other kit that they have. I think they have the two best jerseys, like the paired jerseys in MLS, arguably.
That green and black kit is El
Is
Fuego.
it
I know
navy? Is it
it's
green and
navy
navy?
or black, whatever it is. Yeah, it's a callback to their original jerseys, 27 years ago now. But Yeah, those pairings, I agree. It's up there with a couple of teams that may have the best kits in MLS, maybe even the world. Honestly, I do think they have some great kits.
They're great, and the reason why I put it in the S tier as well is because you don't see any other jerseys have the details on the collar, the sleeves. I don't think. I think you might get like a two-tone collar, sort of like this one, but I don't know. I think it's unique. The designers really like LA, obviously.
Yep.
This is easily A. To me, it's easily S. You
I
can
do
put
think
it
it's
wherever.
I do think it's special. I'll give it to them. I think the A tier is good. LA again, they have the star power, and we'll see if they can pull through this season. And I'll throw this in real quick. I follow footy headlines, and they did a nice article on the authentic version of this jersey versus the replica, and do some research before you buy these jerseys because this one is totally different with the authentic versus the replica. So do your research before you buy. But just want to throw that quick note in. And also, Footy Headlines is a great source for jersey leaks and all that as well. Minnesota United going black this year after a long history of having gray jerseys. The night kit, as they're calling it, it's good. It's sort of like those B ones I think we talked about earlier. I really don't see a lot different than what Charlotte is offering in their dark kit for me.
Yeah, yeah. I'd say just put it in D. I don't know if we need to discuss it much further.
Yeah, no, this
It's a
one's
great
pretty
kit.
simple.
They have great supporters as well.
Great stadium. I want to go to
Great
Alliance
stadium.
Stadium.
Oh yeah, I'll definitely be making my way down to. Speaking of good stadiums, down to Cincinnati for a game.
Yeah,
And Columbus Stadium. I've been a couple times and it's awesome.
absolutely.
So,
Yep.
But yeah, it's good kit, solid kit. Wouldn't be mad about it. But B is just middle of the road. That's where it is.
Yeah. This one definitely be move quickly past it. I think because this next one for me is extraordinary, isn't it? We look at the Montreal kit. Well, I guess Club de Foot Montreal. No longer the Montreal Impact, to the dismay of some MLS fans of through the years. But again, this one is just so great. It definitely, you put this one in the mirror, you see the Arsenal kit from last year with the red kind of marble look to it. But this one is just so great. I love it. I think that, a kit like this will be remembered for a long time. And this one for me, just easily an S tier kit.
Easily an S tier. I think they're hoping to have a good season as well. So maybe a good playoff run in this beautiful kit, get some eyes on it. I mean, It might start selling overseas. Who knows? But yeah, it reminds me of that Arsenal red, white and red kit. But that blue, I like the blue a lot more than the red. That's a very, very pretty kit. I love their press. It was new last year, I think. I don't mind the whole change.
Yeah.
But they did it right. So great kit. Great kit.
The next one, I don't know. For me, I just think Nashville has kind of dropped the ball on their home kits. This one is just so boring. They haven't really dived deep into the Music City culture. They haven't done anything flashy. I think that's what makes Nashville special. There's the flair and the lights and the music, and this one just screams boring for me. I think this is a D tier kit along with that DC United kit.
Oof. Yeah, it's definitely not loud like rock and roll or country loud. It is very boring. It's also don't like that hue of yellow, to be honest. It's D or C. I don't know if I could say much more, but like you said, I wish they had something else on it, or maybe on the imprint they did some sort of like Broadway thing, or and Broadway the street, not actually like the show, or just something a little flashier, But they've had their own issues in the past with not getting funding for the stadium and that whole issue, and it's finally being built. It'll be done in May from the last time I checked, and hopefully it'll be done in May because I think Atlanta United plays the 21st, and I'm expecting to go to that game, and so I might see you there. But I'm hoping to see the new stadium, so that's something to get excited about, Nashville fans. But this kit, if you already have a yellow one, I wouldn't buy it.
Yeah, I mean, this is a team that could be playing deep into November and the MLS Cup playoffs, and you know, I think that this kit deserved more. This city deserves more. They're calling it the homecoming kit, like you said, the new stadium coming in, but I think that they could have done a bit more on it. Just like I think New England right here. Again, we're talking subtle designs. There's a little bit of a design on it. I don't think it does enough for me. This is a pretty, it's a classic kit maybe for some. But I also don't just love the new branding, the new logo for me. I just think
You're not a
this
fan of the
lands
new
in.
logo.
It's no, it's fine. I think that, a lot of fans think that the Revolution has something going, that they're, I think, perhaps one of the earlier teams in MLS. And I think had they not had that history, that all this would be fine with the new logo. But yeah, it kind of reminds me of like the Rangers logo. But
Mm.
it's fine. I think it's a C tier kit. It doesn't do a whole lot for me.
Yeah. I think it sits there as well. C or B. I don't think it's as bad as a D. Um, I also like. I don't know if you saw this, but the marketing scheme around some of the stuff this year is it's no FCs given or no something like that. So like no given. So that's sort of funny, sort of edgy.
Right.
You should look it up later if you haven't seen that. But other than that, funny little bit. If you didn't know that, you would not really care about the kit. I like their crest personally.
Yeah.
It seems like MLS is going to the letters for some reason. So with all the rebranding, at least. So yeah, C's fair. Moving on to MLS Cup winners.
Yeah. Well, I was gonna say one more quick thing about New
Oh
England.
yeah.
They do get some bonus points for sustainability with the new logo and all that. It's a big enough logo where they can put it over the old jerseys from last year. Literally, it's like if you took off the new logo, the old one will still be there. So they get some bonus points for being sustainable. But yeah, for me, the kit doesn't quite do it. Um, I think it's safe to say that this next jersey potentially might be the most controversial jersey on this list. NYCFC coming in hot with the bright orange kit with the lightning bolt down the middle. What do you think? You go first on this one. I don't know what you have to say.
The initial reaction is no. And I've looked at it again and again, and it has their colors in it. I think they have light blue in their jerseys, don't they? Remind me, is this home or away? Sorry to get you while you're drinking.
So this is their away kit.
So, why did you have to stick with your team colors? I mean, that's not a bad thing, but if you wanted to do this lightning bolt, like throw in a yellow or throw in something else. Like it almost wants to be a home kit. But it's cool with the lightning bolt. It's not a cool lightning bolt though. Like I like the idea.
Yeah.
Like they could have done something similar to again Arsenal. I think Arsenal has great kits. Like their lightning bolt stuff, like the whole vintage thing is awesome.
Yep.
But they didn't hit it on this one. I say B though. I thought you might actually like this kit.
Well, I was gonna say I love a nice flary jersey, something that has
Yeah.
some character to it. It's controversial, right? Obviously, they're getting the most flack for their sponsor on the sleeve more than anything else, which is very funny. The dude wipes. Um, but yeah, I love the more shaded part of the lightning with the navy. It's that just hard line lightning bolt in the middle. I think I need to see this one on the field before I put in an S or an A tier. I think I'm fine putting this in a B. Honestly, I think it's good. I love their home kit a lot. That thing that they just won MLS Cup in was a very classy kit. Honestly, if I wasn't supposed to be a hater of other teams in the East, like I would honestly buy that New York kit. It's really really awesome. Obviously, kind of falls in line with their Man City owners, but I do think this one could be a good B tier fit for me. I think it does some good things well, but B seems pretty fitting for me on this one.
Yeah, I
Um,
definitely think that's fair.
but across the road, I think technically in New Jersey, I don't even think it's New York, but you have the Red Bulls. Um, which for me, I do think New York got this one right. I am a big fan of the all white sponsor with the Red Bull logo. I think the checkerboard look is great. Obviously, Croatia being the ones that have been the standard for a nice checker kit like this. Um, but for me, it doesn't have any of the navy blue that they're also known to have in their kits. Just the red and the white on this one. I think it looks great. I think this is actually an A-tier kit for me. Despite everything that we hate about Red Bull, I think that this is an A-tier kit, and I think they did a lot right on this one.
Yeah, I'll still never understand Red Bulls and how all the team jerseys are the exact same, or it seems like it. Like all the colors,
Right.
I feel like they can mix it up maybe a little bit. I do actually miss the navy.
Yeah.
You gotta still, if you're going with your team's colors, you gotta have your team's colors in there. I think that's what would
That's
put it
fair.
to a B for me.
Okay.
But that said, the checkered is just classic, right? I think they do the checkered pattern right. I don't know if it's different colors or it's a texture thing on this one. I'm not entirely sure. But that is just so good. That
Yeah.
is so good. You can see that up close. You can see that from 100 yards away. It's really, really nice. And that it teeters on A and B. So if you're A, I'm all for A.
Cool. Let's do it. Um, this one makes me feel good. I don't even care if it was pretty or not, but I'm gonna hate on Orlando. As an Atlanta fan, I can't like anything Orlando. So for this one, I don't have to look at it. Let's just go straight to a D tier.
Wow, you're gonna be rude on the first episode. Okay, I'll be nice, and I think I might be the complete opposite. I think this is an S tier. This is their best kit ever. Their home kit is horrid, horrible. If I was a fan, I would not wear that plain purple kit. This is something to go to the store and wait in a line for. I think it's a
Wow.
little bit flashy. It you think of Orlando, something about it. I don't know why. I also like the fade. But it's not a fade. It's like a, what would you call that?
No, I think it's fair to call it a fade. I'll be honest. It is cool looking. It's so unique. You don't see a kit like this anywhere else in the world. I'll give them some credit there. But yeah, it's like a nice fade. This will obviously go great with the whole sunshine motto in Florida. It is cool. I do wish I could give it a D just to spite Orlando, but it is special. It is unique. And you won't see anything like this ever again. So I am okay for today because you said so. It can land in that S tier kit.
Yeah, well, look, for us, they might be horrible this year. They lost Nani to our team, Venezia.
Yeah, thank you.
Um,
Thank you.
so thank you, Venezia. So we'll see if they even have a good year.
Yeah.
But
And DK
that's
is gone
it.
as well.
Yeah, that's right.
It's a big
So
move from Orlando.
yeah, and he's a good player. Hopefully oh, he's hurt. Dang. But
Yeah,
hopefully he catches some form before the World Cup. Knock on wood that we make it again.
right.
But yeah, that's an S tier kit for me. It looks so good. But Philadelphia Union on the other hand.
Yeah, Union on this one. I mean, it feels like a Union kit. I'll give him credit for that. It feels good. Like I do love the introduction of, well, not the introduction, but this the combination of the navy, the gold, and the lighter blue. It feels like a nice classic kit for them. It's it's a bit different, unique. I don't know. I'm fine with it. I don't just love it. It's not great. It's sort of like in that C tier range for me. I don't know. You might feel differently. Put this one on the bottom. I don't know what you're thinking, but it's fine. It feels like a Union kit though.
It does. I also like their crest a lot. Their colors are good.
Hmm.
And this is their home kit. Their away kit is really nice. They have a little
Oh
bit of
yeah,
the
that one is great.
Arsenal. Um, yeah. So this as like a good contrast to that, I think they'll go together well. Again, true to their colors, has the single sash. Um, I don't mind the one-sided sash either. I'm with you though. I like the cross sash, but
Yeah.
I think that looks fine enough. Um, this is a B for me. I think it's right along with that NYCFC kit. It could go C though. I mean, we might have to rearrange this, but I don't know. I don't know. I think it's C or B.
I think for this one, I think it gets bumped to the B had they put a nice collar on this one. I think that for me
Mm,
is what it needed to go to the B tier. I think it sticks in the C for me because it doesn't have that. It wants to be classy with the sash going down, sort of like a PSG kit might have done. But for me, I just think it needed that little bit more to make it up to the B tier.
fair. That's fair. This next one is very controversial, though. I thought you were talking about the NYCFC one. I think I've seen a lot of mixed reviews on this one.
Really?
Yeah.
Huh. I think this is perhaps, I mean, like we said, there's some really great things about Atlanta and LA and Montreal and all that, but I think this is an awesome kit. I think the tribute to the Rose City, seeing this thing in action is only going to make me like it more. Um, I think it's a beautiful kit. Honestly, I would buy this in an instant. Obviously, you do away with the TikTok sponsor logo on the sleeve, but that's just how it is nowadays in world soccer. Um, Especially being TikTok. What a terrible company, in my humble opinion. Anyways, we're talking about soccer today.
Mhm.
But what do you think? What are you hearing about this kit that might be controversial?
People just think it looks ugly. I like the sort of streetwear aspect to it.
Hmm.
You don't even have to be a fan to wear this. It just looks good. Again, an ode to the Rose City. It's Rose City, yeah.
It is Rose City.
Um, and I think it looks great. You're a pastel guy. I'll put that out there. So I knew you were gonna like this. I don't mind it though. I like it as well. Probably not as much as you.
Hmm.
So it's A for me. Could be an S. If you're asking other people, they could put it at a D. So I don't know where other people would put that. But
Yeah,
again, you and I, we sort of like the flashy kits. We like the streetwear-ish kits. Um, A's. It's a very solid A. It's a very
yeah.
solid A. It could be S, and I wouldn't mind if you put it there.
No, I think A is a good fit. It should be. It should be there for sure. Salt Lake. I don't know the last time I saw a Salt Lake jersey and was like, that thing is beautiful. And I think this year doesn't change anything. Um,
Yeah.
I think they just have a thing going for them. I'm sure that their fan base enjoys kits like this. I'm not very familiar with the fan base of the club, honestly, but it's fine. It's just a classic kit. There are no wrongdoings for me on this one. I think it's just like the Colorado, just like Chicago. It's just a C tier. Um, Not a whole lot going wrong for or against it.
I'll put it down. If there was an F tier, I'd put this in there.
All right.
They need to do something else.
Yeah.
I'll put it simply.
Hey, no,
They
that's fair.
need to have a good jersey. Like I want the players to feel good when they go on the field.
Right.
And I'm
I
not
mean,
saying they don't, but like I want the fans to be like, "Oh my God, kid, look at that new jersey." I want the
yeah.
MLS to be like, "Wait, there's a team in Salt Lake City."
And
Like,
those are great points.
I feel like half the MLS fans have no idea that team exists. So they need something, right? They need to switch it up. I don't dislike their colors at all either,
Yeah.
though. So like if you put it in C, I wouldn't be mad. But D, it's just I'm tired of them not having good kids.
Yeah, no, I think that's great. I do think those are great points. Yeah, RSL, they have some history in the club, but yeah, they don't. This kit hasn't taken them anywhere new. And maybe they could bring in some new fans with a flashier kit in the next year or two for sure. I do agree with that. The Earthquakes, I think their logo or the sponsor is just it ain't it. It's it's just too much going on with the sponsor on this one. It looks better than the white and yellow kit that they had in years past. Um, I think the side, the piping on the side is a bit unique. Um, I think the color of the kit's fine, but I do enjoy their nice blue color on the home kits typically. I'm not even positive this is their home or the away, but it's it's fine. It might teeter between a C or a D actually. I don't know. I'm pretty split. Just I don't know. It just makes me feel weird even talking about it.
Yeah, I'll let you put it wherever. I really have no. I don't have much to say, if anything, about this kid. It's just so plain Jane. It's boring, and I'm ready to
Yeah.
move on to Seattle's kid.
Yeah. Yep. Seattle. A unique kit, yeah. Wouldn't you agree?
Yeah.
What are your thoughts?
I'm not a huge fan of the colors, and I've never really have, um, for whatever reason. But I'm not gonna hate on it. I like the pattern. I saw it the other day when they were playing Champions League, and it didn't look super great on the field, to be
Hmm.
honest. But as a as a fan, or even as a casual fan, or if you live in the city, you'll definitely go buy this kit. It's A or B for me.
Yeah, honestly, I just missed the days that Xbox was the jersey sponsor for
Yeah.
Seattle. It just felt right. You kind of had the Xbox green going. Zulily just isn't doing it for me. Um, I think it's a B tier kit. It's unique. They took a chance with the kind of diamondish, uh, kind of look to it on the front. But yeah, I just don't think it's like their best kit by any means. They've had some really awesome kits through the years, ones that were loud and got your attention. But I think this one's a solid B tier. I'm not just rushing to buy it, but it's something that if my team was wearing it, I wouldn't be embarrassed to see them on TV in it.
Hmm. That's
All
fair.
right, so this one on the B tier.
What's this next one? Is it Kansas City?
Yeah, so for those that don't know, this is my OG MLS team. In the days before Atlanta United became a club, I started following Sporting Kansas City in 2011, sort of the same year I started following Tottenham as well. And in 2012, I was lucky enough to see them win MLS Cup in an amazing shootout in the snow. Um, and so they've had some good kits through the years. I think that they haven't had great their kits have been divisive for me in the recent years. Um, they're known for having the nice home kit with the light blue and the navy blue together. Um, I think last year's kit didn't do it for me. This one again, it's just so simple. I get the new Compass Mineral sponsor. They've had different sponsors the past 2 3 years as well. Um, but I just always loved. I think you might remember the white and the metallic look and the black and the metallic look. Those were just so clean, so special that those might have been S tier kits in years past if we had a tier list then. But this one's fine. I don't know. I think if we're putting Nashville and Salt Lake and DC in the bottom, I think this is also a D tier kit as well.
Yeah,
As sad
yeah,
as that makes me as a Kansas City fan.
right. And I don't know. They have a cool thing going. I think they have a great supporters. Like you said,
Mhm.
those like metallic jerseys were so great. This is just a little bit of a letdown, to be honest. Very
Yeah,
plain, very boring. Um, I would put this in D, and
yeah.
I wouldn't be too mad about that. For Toronto's though, I don't know if you like this. I love the two tone. I will say that I
Mhm.
love the two
I do
tone.
too. I do like it.
Um, Very simple, very nice, and clean. So if you're a Toronto fan, you don't have one of their lighter kits, you're definitely buying this 100%.
Yep.
This is B. This is a B tier.
Yeah, no, I think Toronto did a good job. I would even imagine, seeing this thing as home kit, maybe with the red instead of the gray. I think that'd be an awesome look for them. But the gray and the white, it's great. It does the job for me. I think it is an A tier kit. Um,
Mm,
I think that, again, imagining a red and white combo would be great, but this one's unique. Toronto has some decent kits. I would enjoy wearing this one. Like you said, we're talking streetwear on the field. I think this one does the job for me. I think I could put this one in the A tier.
you like it? Wow, that's awesome. Um, I'm not mad about that. I'm not mad about that. But this
All
next
right.
one, I don't know if you've seen their other kits. They are the exact same, but the colors are just flipped. And so for that reason, it is a D tier kit, a deer kit.
Deer kit. I don't know. I think Vancouver is known for their big hoop in the middle. I think it's a cool jersey, honestly. Like, I would buy this, if it's the same thing every year. I get that. So maybe they do get points off for not being innovative and being unique from year to year, but I don't think it's a D. I mean, I could put it in the D if I need to, but I do think I think it's better than the Dallas kit, if I'm being honest. I think it's more unique than the New England and Columbus jerseys. So I think for me, it's in the C tier kit if we're looking at that range, comparing directly. It's not just a navy blue all the way through. It does have the nice, cool hoop in the middle, which again, it's not just the navy to the white. It has the light blue in there as well. So I think C is pretty fair for me, honestly.
That's fair. You can put in there. I just don't like how their jerseys are replicas of each other, just reversing the colors. That
Right.
annoys me. Give your fans something to go out and buy and be excited for. You can't have the same kit for me at least. But maybe they like it there. I don't know.
Yeah.
I just want to push it back to you. Looking at this tier list, we have just completed it. Is there any changes that need to be made?
That's a great point. That's a great question. I think we did a pretty good job evaluating each team. Obviously, we didn't, dive, super deep into each team's history, past jerseys. We're just kind of going, you know, just off the seat of our pants on some of them. I'm looking at it. I feel pretty good about our B's, C's, and D's. It's always just a matter of those S's and A's, right? Because you think the S tier are something very special, something super unique. And I don't know. I think we did a pretty good job. Is there anything that you had second guesses on?
No. I think we might have been a little harsh, maybe on some of the D and the C. I mean, they should be lucky there's not an F because some of them would definitely be an F.
Right.
But I don't know. I could see Dallas being a B. I'll say that. I
Okay.
could see also the Union being a B. But where it is, I think that's fine. The Timbers, for me, could also be an S. I think I said that earlier. But where it's at, just looking through it, I think it's fine. Is there a favorite kit this year? Let's take Atlanta United's out of it, even though I really love it. And we didn't say this earlier, but it's, if you remember, the Netherlands like retro kit.
Yeah.
Like this a very similar pattern, but it's orange and white, and it looks really good. Look it up if you haven't seen it. But it's almost like an ode to that too.
Yeah.
So I think this jersey will age really well too. But take Atlanta United out of it because we're a little biased. Out of the S tier kits, if we gave you $150 or how much they cost now to go buy one of them, which one would you get?
Man, that's a great question. I do want to know, you guys listening, watching, what do you guys think as well? Let us know in the comments or any way. You can email us as well with thebadfanpodcast@gmail.com. Let us know. Yeah, I mean, that's tough. I think if I had $150 just to spend, I wouldn't buy an Orlando kit because God forbid I do. I think LA for me, I really wanted a sash. I love how it's a nice, clean white jersey. We're not talking about Atlanta United. So that leaves me between LAFC and Montreal. And really, it's so hard to choose between those two teams. I love the marble kind of look that Montreal has. LAFC has those awesome designs within it, but it's just so hard. I think if I'm like choosing, I love black, but I'm gonna go Montreal. I do think I think it's the most unique kit of the season. I think people are gonna love it. It's gonna be something that you said, like the Atlanta United kit. It'll age well, I think. It'll definitely be remembered in 2022. And yeah, I think they did a good job, Adidas, this year with Montreal's kit.
Definitely, man. So, fun fact about me: the Timbers were my first MLS team before Atlanta
Yeah.
had a team. So they're not in the S tier, but I actually sort of like that kit, so I maybe would buy that. But if we're sticking with S, man, that middle crest is awesome, isn't it? But I love, like I said earlier, I love the collar and the sleeves. But I'm with you. I think Montreal's kit is just so good. It's
Yeah.
so good. That blue, I can't wait to see that blue on the field. I think it'll look really, really good. They did such a good job with that jersey. I would go for that one.
Yeah, no, I agree. I think that definitely is our kit of the year if we're excluding Atlanta. I think those two kits together are definitely special. But yeah, I mean that's our MLS 2022 kit ranking list. I think this has been great. I think this has been really cool. Kind of deep dive into the kits this year. It's interesting for me to look at it. Looking at the chart and all that on my screen, kind of seeing the distribution we have. We have an even distribution between the B and the C, and then the other three tiers as well. So it's good to know there's a nice, kind of evened out flow to it. You have the nice 5, maybe 6 S tier jerseys we're throwing in Portland. But it's a good look to see it all in front of us like that. Yeah, we're kicking off in a week, I think, or even less than that, as this recording. And I think it'll be a good year for MLS. We're excited in the future to talk more about the MLS, to talk more about Premier League football and teams around the world, and anything else that we want to talk about. We have visions to take this channel, this podcast, places that follow our interests. Whether it be the sports world, if it's the tech world, it's entertainment, different stuff like that. We want to talk about things that we love and have a genuine interest in the things we like. We weren't planned to have matching backgrounds, the nice brick walls in the back, but that just shows that the brotherly love we have, despite being a couple states away. But yeah, this has been an awesome joy to talk and get to do this together. This has been a dream of ours for a long time, to just have a place that we can have a voice and get to explore what it's like to put our opinions and thoughts on the internet. So those are some of my closing thoughts. Brandon, do you have anything before we get to go after this first episode?
No, yeah, thanks for pointing out the brick. Yeah, as you can see with this tier list, we like a lot of the same things.
Yeah.
Maybe it's growing up with each other. I don't know, but I'm sure we disagree on some things as well. So I just, it's awesome. I'm glad we're expressing our creativity and getting our opinions, because we're sort of shy guys, I'd say, in person, a little quieter maybe, but we do love sports, especially soccer. And like Cole said, we like other things too, movies, shows, tech, whatever it is. So we might get into that later, but I think this was a great first episode.
Yeah, the pilot episode, number 1. This will go down in the history books. Remember this day, February 21st, 2022. This has been an honor, guys. We really loved having you. We don't really have everything set up quite yet. We're just kind of venturing out into this world, seeing what it's like. But yeah, we'd love to see you guys in future episodes. Let us know what you thought, and we'll see you guys next time. Thank you.